LiveHipHopDaily.tv.
Man, don't you feel motivated, man?
Hey, man, I'm about to go and create some shit. So let
Hey,
me on. I ain't talking about no Hot Pocket either.
Hey, man, but look, we back, man. We got the homie. Like, I feel like I got to go through the history of how I know this guy.
Talk to him.
So, owner of Salems Studio, Amon Jackson. I said that's right.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
perfect,
cool.
man. Thank you.
Yeah, I want to make sure I got it right, man. But look, so I met this guy. Man, I don't know the time, but the homie Odell, he was doing his
The OTR.
yeah, Beats, Lyrics, and Radio.
Oh, that's right. It was
yeah.
before.
Yeah, it was Beats, Lyrics.
Before.
Yeah, and I came through your studio to record the interview. And, just one of those people that have just good vibes, you know what I'm saying? It's like from welcoming me into your studio, from the time we walked in to the time we left, it was all good vibes. And, exchanged contacts, and, I was looking at everything you got going on and the people that you have coming through the studio all the time. And we just randomly bump into each other a couple of weeks ago doing the interview with the homie Ty Satan Boogie with the download. So, I was like, man, shoot, you want to come here? Like, hey,
all
come
day,
here too,
man.
You know what I mean?
Definitely the vibe's good, man.
Yeah,
Good people. You know what I'm saying? It's always been a good vibe, bro. So it's just a pleasure to link up with good folks as usual.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Productive folks.
That's the key.
Folks.
That's the key right there. There's a lot of good people. You got to make sure you're productive too, man. So welcome to the Good Hennessy Show, man. We here, man. We just talk about whatever you want to talk about. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up.
And I know you're one of those individuals that you're all about sound. So I know this sound may not be up to your standards. So please,
you are correct, sir.
Don't hurt us. This guy hear everything. You hear me? Like, when I say engineer, like he's an engineer in every sense of the word. So like he probably was walking through the hall and hearing like, man, it sound mad echoey in here. Yep. And I need to come figure out a way to dead the sound. So I know.
You already know.
Yeah, I know how he thinks, man. But I want to really get into in your head and figure out like where did this whole journey in music start with you? You know what I mean? Like where did it come from? Man,
I went through a lot as a kid, I think, you know what I mean? And that was the 1990s when it got real crazy. You know what I'm saying? In the household. And so I kind of gravitated toward music. You know what I'm saying? It was just, I think most teenagers, man, they gravitate toward music. I started really getting it in. That was the era of Wu-Tang and Nas and a lot of the, company flow and just a lot of like heavy lyricism and dope beats and real organic, real pure music that was happening at the time. It was, back then it wasn't about copycatting people. It was like, it was an originality thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got points if you were different, if you were being yourself. So at that time I gravitated toward those things, and even listening to stuff like Onyx, man, you know what I mean? Where, you angry, MOP, you know what I mean? You that was our rock and roll.
Yeah.
That was our Ozzy Osbourne and all that kind of stuff. So I got into that. I got a keyboard, you know what I'm saying? My mother got me a keyboard that I believe was stolen.
And that's just being honest, right?
Hey man, this is what we do. You know what I'm saying? When I started, making beats, and it just never stopped. It just, man, what's crazy is we used to do these ciphers in the basement at my mom's spot, and it would be like 10 MCs, and I had no idea that 15 years later. 20 years later, I will be designing recording studios and having crazy giant sessions with mad MCs.
Yeah,
like, it's crazy.
So let me ask you this, man. So how long have you been engineering professionally? What you have?
Maybe, man, like 8-10 years or something.
8 or 10 years.
Yeah.
So in your 8 to 10 year journey as an audio engineer, just run down a list of names that are the people that you've engineered for and help shape their sound.
Lord have mercy.
I know it's a lot.
This is my worst. This is Hayes, man. Help a brother. This is my worst question is when I ask, who have you worked with? Like,
You're
promise you.
always in the zone, right? I bet you're in such a zone that you don't even remember. Is it that the case, or
you know what it is? You know that thing that they said in Hustle and Flow?
Oh, you gotta. I haven't seen Hustle and Flow in so long, man. Hold on, break it down.
So that when they say, you too busy walking the walk.
Okay.
So, you know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Like it's really that way, man. Like at the end of the times when I learn what I've done is when I go back and I have to, Kellogg's Corporation came to shoot I can't talk about what they came to shoot.
Yeah.
But they came to shoot something at the recording studio on Tuesday of last week.
Okay.
And so I had to send them information on my bio, and I was like, man, I haven't updated the bio in like 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that's a lot, because in 6 months, what I do is dramatically changed.
Yeah.
And so every time I go to write that down, I start thinking about all the things that I've been doing, and that's when I realize, like, damn, like I've done
That's
a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, I don't know, bro.
It's all good, man. It was one of those questions I wanted to throw out there just to see where your frame of mind was at. Henderson got something on his head.
Now, real quick, is there anybody that that you would like to collab with that's in your field to create something? And another thing, Dre beats. Since you all about sound, what's your honest opinion on them?
On the headphones?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a thing. I'm actually getting ready to mix something that Dre produced.
Okay.
For one, and my big homie Focus, who's
shout out to Focus.
Yeah, I look up to Focus a lot, man. And Focus is I'm mixing a record that he's got 4 tracks on that I can't talk about yet. And that's the code of the engineer. You can't talk.
You just can't
like,
talk about it.
Prepare to hear that a lot. So I'm mixing some joints from Focus right now. He's also working with another artist that records with me. So I'm going to be mindful of that.
Gotcha.
Because this is a lot of Aftermath Records activity.
Oh, okay, so we know how that goes.
Right.
But I think the headphones are great for listeners. I think the headphones are terrible for music professionals.
Okay.
That would be...
I think that's the best that I've heard that explained by anybody. Like, real talk. It's not, it's for the average consumer.
Right.
Their listening experience it'll feel like the best thing they ever heard. Because that's more than likely they haven't heard anything in some, those are the best headphones that you'll ever have as a consumer.
Right.
Somebody that do music, like,
right.
I mean, the
we don't
nerd.
want you to defend your political connect.
No. The nerd version. The nerd version is this, right? When you buy a system as a music consumer to listen to music at home, then you go out and buy a Bose system or a Polk audio system, or you know what I mean, or whatever nice system. Those systems are designed to color music, right? So they enhance music. They alter the music to make it sound better by using by accenting harmonics that are pleasing to the human ear.
Right.
Things like studio monitors or a pair of Sennheiser headphones are designed to reproduce exactly what's actually there. And so if you're a producer or an engineer, then you really want to work with something that is colorless and as close to the actual sound as possible.
Gotcha.
If that makes sense.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So that's the difference. Beats are designed to make music sound good for regular people.
Yeah.
Sennheiser, I never knew how to pronounce that, but that's my first time hearing that today. But I those are the headphones that I like personally.
Yeah, they're good. I mean, they're not too expensive, man.
Yeah.
These skull candies are doing it a little bit. These are cool.
Word.
You know what I mean?
Herb, you in the building.
Definitely, man. So look, I know we have you for a limited amount of time here, but one thing that you also do in addition to engineering is you do the sound design. Like, you set up studios and you go in and so kind of walk us through that process, because I think a lot of times we, as I guess, regular people, don't realize like what really goes into making something sound, I don't want to say perfect, but sound up to, to the highest level possible.
Right. So dealing with acoustics, man, it's just something that I learned as an engineer. When when you start mixing records, mastering records, recording audio, things like that, you start finding out really quickly that the environment that you're recording, like even right now, we're not recording a vocal, we're recording a room that has a vocal in it, right? And so when you think about it with that mentality, you start to understand that the more I can contain and control the audio of the vocal, and the less of the room that I can get, the less of the unwanted elements of the room that I can get, the more time I'm going to save on the back end of, recording, mixing, and mastering. You see what I'm saying? So, recording is easy, and you can just grab, a laptop and just rock off. You can grab your cell phone and get a halfway decent signal off of that. Yeah. Honestly. So, what I do is I go into acoustic environments and I design them. So like in this space, because there's so much room and the walls are so hard, there's going to be a lot of reflections, which is why the room sounds so big. You see what I'm saying? So we would put acoustic panels in here that would prevent sounds from ricocheting off of a lot of objects. The human ear works like a sonar, like a bat. So we judge distance by the amount of time that it takes for a sound to bounce off. If we're not looking, if you close your eyes, you're going to judge the distance of you and an object based on how long it takes for the sound to hit the object and come back.
Gotcha.
Is water in the floor a thing?
You could do that. I have not done it, but
break that down here.
Well, I just know it's a certain studio back home. Actually, they record a lot of rock bands, and it's water in the floor. I don't understand. I don't get it.
Well, so bass frequencies are very, very heavy. So like in Salems Studios here in Atlanta, what we do is we have an air gap in the floor, which is the idea behind the water. Bass frequencies are heavy, and sound is just like anything else. It's like, the juggernaut. Like it's moving and it's kinetic energy. It's not going to just stop because you feel like it. So bass will go through, say like this floor is wooden, it will go straight through this floor. When it gets through this floor, if it doesn't have anywhere else to go, guess where it's coming? Back up. Right?
Okay.
So it'll come back up in places that you don't want it to. It runs toward corners. It climbs up walls. It hits the ceiling. And bass is just a very heavy, powerful force, which is why you feel it so heavily. So what happens is if you have an air gap or a space underneath the floor, or in this instance, water, then the water or the air gap would allow the bass to hit something that it can resonate inside of and prevent it from moving from one place to another.
I love this type of talk, man.
That's the hype right there, man.
Hey, man, it's
no, man. I'm a avid fan of sound myself. You know what I mean? I'm nowhere near where you're at, and the experience that you have, but I'm just one of those people that I've always had a infatuation with sound. You know, and it's just amazing to hear it. Now, did you go to school for this, or is this something that you literally, taught yourself? Really?
Just taught myself. I've had some great people in my life that have helped me learn things. My man Denny Lavish, so many years ago, helped me learn some stuff. My man Kyle Dredden helped me learn some things when I was first kind of starting out and getting my feet wet. I used to think that I knew a whole lot, and I went to at one point I started working in pro audio at Guitar Center with a whole bunch of white kids and realized I knew nothing. And just like Coach was saying earlier, you know what I mean? Like we just, as black folks, we just don't get the information.
Gotcha.
So I pulled what I could from people, and I did a lot of research online, YouTubing, reading, anything that I could do to get information. And, eventually over time started doing research and development for some acoustic companies that were teaching me some things. And it just happened over time. It took a while, but I mean, you asked me about water, and I guess, and I hadn't actually not heard of that, but because it does make sense, mathematically,
Okay. So y'all like some scientists, man.
Yeah, it
is a science.
It is. It's science. It's definitely science. I wanted to ask you, typically, how long does it take for you to mix a record from start to finish?
Lord. Here
I come with all these hard questions.
Nah, you good, bro. And this is actually really cool because people don't ask me this kind of stuff.
Okay.
I get asked like, so, you like music, you know, it's not the same.
Yeah.
Mixing is definitely, I treat it like an art form. It's very subjective. So some people get in there and you know, they can mix a record real quick, but I like to say that I feel every song is its own universe.
Okay.
And so I don't mix one song like I mix the next song. So you're not going to send me, you know, a record and then I'm going to mix the next record exactly the same way I mixed the record before that, because, you know, everything is different.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? And when you sat down as a writer to write the song, you didn't expect the songs to be the same,
Right.
or you would have just done the one song.
Mm-hmm.
So with that said, I have some artists like a Doughboy Philly that might come in and he might bring me a 2-track instrumental. That's just a stereo instrumental.
Yeah.
Like you would get on YouTube or something.
Right.
And then, you know, like a couple vocals, literally, you know, and sometimes I can mix those records and I can mix and master those records oftentimes in, you know, an hour and some change, hour and a half, you know, and that includes like high precision, manual, removing of breathing and, you know, mitigating the damage of certain plosives and semblances in the, you know, in the joint. And then sometimes you have people like Deacon the Villain who brings me a record or Stickman, who is literally 100 tracks of audio. You know what I'm saying? And those are projects. The way that I treat them, you know, you can bring them to some engineers and they're going to give you that same mix back the next, you know, that afternoon, and I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
I remember on one song on Deacon's album, I spent 8.5 hours preparing the instrumental before I activated any software. If you don't get into that stuff, they're called plugins. They're like apps. They work like apps.
That's a great way to put it.
It took me 8.5 hours of preparing the song to actually start technically mixing the song. And so those people pay me a lot. But when they get it back, it sounds amazing. So,
Gotcha.
you know,
Yeah,
it just depends, bro. Some mixes are going to literally be like you come in and you take it home with you when you leave. And some mixes are going to be like, I'll get back to you in 2 or 3 days for the first revision.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely, man. Well, look, bro, I know you good. We're good. Okay, so I'm getting a call here. I don't know who that is, but I do know who that is. But you know, one of those things that I really, and I don't know if this is something that you do, but I would love to just sit in and just watch you work. Like I want to be a fly on the wall. I don't know if that's something you do.
I don't, but you could do it. I would do it with you because you have a healthy, clean spirit, man, and that would be totally okay with me.
Cool,
you know?
cool. I just want to, because I'm all about learning, and I had an opportunity to sit in with a bunch of, like, I do some minimal engineering for a couple of people. I by no means say that I'm the best at it, but I do know a little bit of stuff, but I just want to learn more, you know what I mean? And I haven't had the opportunity to sit in like I used to. Like I used to spend a lot of time at Artist Factory, so I sat in with a bunch of engineers over there. Prince, shout out to Prince, and I watched him work, you know, doing a lot of stuff. But I haven't really got a chance to do that as often as I would like, and I would love to just sit down and I just want to watch, like, and take notes and do that type of thing. Like I don't.
All good, bro.
You know, so that's something. I'm sorry, y'all. That's a conversation that we should have had all.
Nah, it's all
we
good.
just want to do it here. But
we want to give people the real, man. So
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely, man.
You know, I'm gonna actually open this document so I can tell you the question that you answered. If I can, you know what?
Yeah. Go
I hate to do this on the air.
Yeah,
But
go for it.
open Google Docs.
Oh, here we go.
I don't know. I have so many apps on this phone, bro. I don't even know
you.
where to find it anymore.
I feel you.
And let's see.
So what are you looking for again?
I'm looking for the list of clients.
Oh, okay. So yeah, we're going through those clients. As he's looking for those clients, if you do have any questions, we're on Facebook Live on both of them. Feel free to send some questions in, and we'll get them through it as soon as possible. I don't know if you have any, Hennessy, as well.
Not yet. Well, I had one. I answered it already.
Oh, okay,
and that was adjust the camera.
I bet you this thing is gonna be hella old too.
Well, you know, let me ask you this though. While you're also looking, like, how important is it for you to really build those solid relationships, and how much is your business referral based versus you actively pursuing clients?
Oh man. Well, we're changing a lot of things, man. So like, today, for example, we interviewed our first 2 interns. Well, 3, and then I've got another interview when we leave here. And so we're gonna kind of shift because there comes a point in time as a business person where you have to step outside of yourself and say, okay, where I can be in my own way, trying to do everything.
Gotcha.
So up until now, it's been almost 100% referral based. I've never been the guy to run out in the streets, and my man Hayesworth is here with me. He helps run Salem Songs with me, so he knows. He would tell you like our philosophy is we work until you realize that you're losing money by not working with us. And then we don't have to chase you. You're going to come to work with us.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because
I
then
like that.
But that's that I think that's if you want some advice, music industry advice, I mean just business advice in general, chasing people around to try to get a leg up is not necessarily the best way to approach business. You need to be an asset to the person that you're approaching. You know what I'm saying? And so if you're able to put yourself in a position where they really are losing out by not working with you, and that becomes apparent to them, then they will seek you out.
Right.
You don't have to chase people.
Right.
That's real, man.
That's really real.
Here we go, bro. Okay, so
it's a long list, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you, like, he just did a half scroll up, and there's like,
I'm just gonna go through a few.
Yeah, just name a few, man.
So, CNBC.
Okay.
And this is, I never remember this stuff. So CNBC, as of Tuesday, Kellogg's Corporation, Phife Dawg from A Tribe Called Quest, Diamond D from Digging in the Crates, Pharoah Monch, Homeboy Sandman, Stickman, Skyzoo, Torre, Rex, Shaw Stimuli. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. J Live, Angie Stone. We go in, man.
Yeah,
we do a lot.
Yeah. You definitely said some names that I'm very familiar with, and I've seen that list. I actually, when I came and did the interview with Odell, I'm just the type of person, before I go anywhere, I'm researching. So I was like, okay, it's Salem Song. Okay, so I'm looking it up.
Right.
And I was like, okay, cool. I just want to make sure I'm not going anywhere I'm supposed to, you know what I'm saying? Right. I just like to be aware of what, that's how my brain works. I trust Odell, but I don't know where we're going. So I just want to look and see where I'm going. And, I saw everything there. And I was like, okay, cool. And I saw the list that you had up there at the time, and walked in the studio. Like I said, the vibe is definitely there. Everything that you're doing, man, it's one of those things where I can tell you somebody that had a vision, and you're like, you know what? I'm just going to go. And I'm going to do the work, and I'm going to let my work speak for itself.
Word up.
You know what
Give
I mean?
thanks, man.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. We got a question right here. You want to know, ask about those frequencies people can't stop using.
Could you be a little bit more specific about frequencies people can't stop using?
I know who this is here. I'm gonna see.
What do you mean by frequency? Like
maybe is that like auto tune? You talking about like auto tune and stuff like that? Gotcha.
Or the muffle sound on the beat.
Yeah.
Are they typing?
Yeah. It's like you said like bass, auto tune, stuff like that. Those, I guess, those type of frequencies.
So I mean, I'm not really sure how to approach that question, but I will say this: music is the music industry as a whole, including film. The film industry is the same way. It's trendy, and so there's going to be, somebody's going to. Okay, do you remember when Bullet Time came out? I hate to take it to a film analogy to explain audio, but Bullet Time was when The Matrix, when Keanu Reeves bent back and did the 360. That was the first time that had ever been seen in a film.
Yeah.
And as soon as Bullet Time came out, it's everywhere now.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I'm saying?
I just saw it in one of my favorite shows right now is The Blacklist.
I love The Blacklist.
They did it in The Blacklist when Liz was coming up the steps when they were trying to kill her. They slowed it down and showed it. Yeah, you're right. It's everywhere now. It's everywhere.
So audio works the same way, right? So you know, T-Pain does the auto-tune style thing, and then software companies jump on it, and then
and make an effect.
They create all these plugins and you know, effects, you know, that you can use, and then kids on the street, they hear it and they say, okay, if I want to sell records, this is how I sell records because this is what's hot.
Right.
And you know, it's always been that way. So the determining factor is the people that have money. The people that have money in the music industry support those things because it's easy for them to know that they're going to make money.
Gotcha.
You see what I'm saying? So that's essentially how that works. So, you know, like we say, you know, Future does something and then it gets duplicated and duplicated and duplicated. So right now, 808s is the thing. Everybody loves 808s. It's overwhelmingly annoying at this point.
Yeah.
Because it's in every single song and there's no variety and it's just boring.
Yeah.
You know, but see what happens is when everybody starts to get bored, then the trend shifts.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So the trend is going to shift again.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Like what you're saying with the bass, it instantly made me think of To Pimp a Butterfly, because I've seen the interviews and I've heard the records where they didn't use a lot of bass. You know what I mean? They didn't use a lot of bass on that. They didn't use a lot of 808, excuse me.
Right.
On that record, and it was intentional. It was. I heard an interview with Terrence Martin when he was kind of like, you know, they would tease with it, like they're doing this record and they feel like yo, we're not gonna put an 808 in here. Like you know, I know we should put an 808 in here, and it's like, no, we're not gonna put an 808. And it's just kind of like that vibe of like you said, breaking away from what everybody else is doing, and hopefully that starts a new trend. Like, okay, now we can put some live instrumentation in a record and feel okay about doing it. You know what I mean? As opposed to everything sounds like, you know, it's fresh out of Fruity Loops or, excuse me, FL Studio. I'm showing my age now saying Fruity Loops.
That's
FL
the same
Studio.
program, bro.
It's the same program. But look, let me tell you though, I've literally had a conversation with a guy when I was saying Fruity Loops, and he was looking at me like he didn't know what I was talking about.
Wow.
And he was like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, I was like, Fruity Loops. He was like, no, man, it was like FL Studio, bro. And I'm like, yo, you know that FL stands for Fruity Loops. And he was looking at me like dumbfounded. Like,
blown.
Yeah, mind blown. I was like, bro, it was Fruity Loops like way before FL Studio. But, you know, that tripped me out. That's a whole nother conversation. But, you know, just go ahead.
You know the thing about Kendrick, man, that I wanted to say, I just wanted to publicly say this because I don't think I've said this in any interviews at this point, but I am super duper duper proud of Kendrick and Cole. Mm-hmm. And there's others, you know what I'm saying? But those are the two that I would like to highlight because both of these kids is doing something. I don't mean to call y'all kids. I'm almost 40, but you know, both of these men are creating music that's reaching mainstream folks, like just regular dudes, that's offering people a different perspective.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And so, although it's an amazing thing that they left the 808s alone, you know what I'm saying, to do To Pimp a Butterfly,
yeah.
It's even more profound to me that they deviated from the message that has been being pushed.
Yeah.
And still were publicly received. And like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's hard to do, bro. Like, to make music that makes a statement that is not necessarily negative and detrimental to the black community and still sell records, bro. That is hard, yo. So I have to give it to those two cats, man.
Absolutely. And they made good music at that, and they made songs that you can still relate to. Like, even if you're the young dude that may want to turn up in the club all night, like All Right is a record that'll play in the club and you still feel, but like it's a sax, like there's saxophone written in that record. You know what I mean? And it's like, to that young person's ear, they might not even think about that. Like they're listening to the beat or whatever, but it's like there's a that's live instrumentation in that record.
Yes, sir.
You know, and I think that's genius, man. That's definitely genius. So I don't know, Hennessy, you got anything, man? I can talk to this dude all day, man. I'm telling you.
I'm just soaking.
Look, I'm gonna go
Jay
ahead.
Good's a homie, man.
Look, I'm gonna go ahead and say it right here on this program, dude. I'm willing to come sweet, man. Like if you need intern, like I'm dead serious, bro. I just want to learn from you. Like,
you gotta just come
real.
chill, man. You good?
Like I'm humble enough to tell you, like I don't care. You need some work done, bro. I just want to, cause I missed out on that. I used to love being in that position to be able to have the time to go over and sit down and learn, and I haven't had a chance to do that in a while. So I just want to do that and learn some more with engineering. So
just let me know, man.
Yeah, definitely.
literally 90% of my day is sitting around engineering, man.
Yeah.
So, you know, like I'm going to take this leap of faith, man. And, you know, God's been talking to me about, you know, trying to pass down information and bring on the interns and, you know, have some additional arms, you know what I'm saying, instead of trying to, you know, do so much by myself. So in that process, I'm going to have to get acclimated to not doing as much. And I'm not really sure. You know what, man, like, not for nothing, but like maybe 4 months ago, a good friend of mine was like, yo, I take a Sabbath, you know, because I was going through something and I was just getting frustrated. And he was like, I take a Sabbath on Sunday, you know, and you don't got to, you know, whatever day you choose to do it, you know, you really should take time out for yourself. And so he convinced me to try this, right? So Sunday rolled around. I went to church. I came home from church and I sat there and I was like, the hell do I do with this? And I posted it. I made a meme and I posted it on IG. Like, what am I supposed to do with a day off? I don't understand what this is. So I you know, I've had to practice taking time off to get on the PlayStation, do something with the kids. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever. And see, that's the thing is like, I even got to not do stuff with the kids to really have time off. I got to like actually stop doing stuff. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And just sit down and relax, man. And that's a challenge, bro.
Dude, you said that make me think of this thing. I'm like that too, because I get to the point where I kind of keep going and sometimes I forget about that I have to sleep and all of this stuff. Yeah. And my wife told me one day, she was like, yo, if you die, who gonna run straight out the den? Boy. And you talking about something that hit you. Yeah. That's like on some straight up, like, this is your wife, the person you love. Like, she tell you like straight, if you die, who gonna, because I don't know how to do it. That's what she's like, I don't know how to do it. Right. So like, who gonna do it? Like, take a day off. Like, that's how she put it, take a day off. And like, since that moment, dude, it's kind of like now, because I, you know, going to sleep 3 o'clock in the morning really wasn't that for me, and waking up at 7, 8, like that was normal. Yeah, all day. You know, and she's like, no, like, you need to start getting to bed before 12.
Yeah, you know what it is, the way that my dude explained it to me, man, and hopefully this will help some hustlers out there, you know, because there was a clock, you know what I mean, and you know, when you're 18 and you 22 and stuff, you can run. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. You could just run, B, and like, you don't need sleep, you don't need anything. But then when you wake up and you in your mid 30s and you still running, you see what I'm saying? You have to at some point figure out how to get off the treadmill. You understand what I'm saying? And so things like what I'm doing now and investing in other people to try to like develop those things, you have to do those things. So what my man was saying, he was like, you know, the thing is, man, you taking on, he said quality work requires you giving a lot of yourself. And that's what struck me. Said if you're doing quality work, it's gonna really pull from your energy and your spirit. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna drain yourself. And then if you're dealing with stress from the outside world on top of those things and the pressure, and then on top of that, you're not sleeping and giving your body the time to reset itself, you are speeding up your clock. You have to stop. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Because in order for you to put out that quality, he said, yo, if you get some rest, I promise you, the quality of your work will not decrease, it'll increase. You know what I'm saying? And the time that you take out for yourself, God will replace whatever income you missed during that time with some other income. Yeah. Just trust me. You know what I'm saying? And I tried it and it works. Yeah. Like, it actually works. You know, so for about 2 months, I would work in the studio and stop working by 10 o'clock p.m. every day. And that changed a lot for me, man. You know, because what it did was, it forced me to find ways to be even more efficient during the times that I was working, because I knew there was a cap. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's helpful, bro. But your wife is right, man. You don't do it.
Yeah. I mean, that dude, ever since that day when she told me that, it was like a eye opener for me. I was just like, because, you know, I can't speak for everybody, but me, I can be stubborn. Right. So me, I'm thinking like, man, I've been doing this for years. And that's when it clicked, like, yeah, you've been doing that for years.
Yes, sir.
Like, you've been doing that for years. And it's like, all right, yeah, you're right, babe. Let me chill out. Let me get into bed. You know what I mean? So I get it, man. But Dude, I appreciate you coming on here at Hennessy. You got anything?
Hey, I'm over. I'm
Henderson
on the fly.
He the fly on the wall.
Nah, you good, man. It's a family thing, brother.
Yeah.
Definitely. How can the people connect with you if they want to reach out and if they want to use your services? Paid services only, people. Paid services.
Yes, sir. We can be reached at Salem Psalms. That's SALEM PSALMS. Salem Psalms. That's that's Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, any social media account. My personal IG is Amon Jackson. That's AMOND Jackson. I crack some jokes on there from time to time. The business page I keep pretty business-esque, business-like.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that's about it, man. Definitely get at me, and that's that. I appreciate y'all having me out, man.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? I've been looking forward to it, and it's crazy, but this is my break. Sitting down talking with y'all now. Today is my break.
That's cool.
So when I get back, Hayes just went to go kickstart the interview that I'm supposed to be doing with an intern, and hopefully my man Fiend is on the way over there now to
shout out to Fiend, man.
Help out with that, brother. You know what I'm saying? But we gonna make it good. We gonna make it Jay good. We're gonna make it, dog.
We're gonna do it, man. Well, look, bro, I appreciate you coming on the program, man. You're welcome here anytime you want to. So
appreciate that.
Definitely appreciate you for coming through. We'll be we're gonna come back, or
Coming back.
We'll come back, man.
Yep.
Good Hennessy show.